Welcome to Talkin' Shit, the podcast where we get real about the unfiltered truths women face in the quest for perfection. I'm Jana, your host, a dietitian and fellow woman navigating the pressure to have it all together, the perfect body, career, relationships, and making it all look effortless. Who set that standard anyway? Here, we're calling out the diet fads, hustle culture, beauty standards, and everything else that keeps us feeling stuck. But we're not just venting, we're diving into how to break free and rewrite the rules on your terms. So, grab a coffee or a glass of wine and let's talk some shit. Together, we'll uncover how to live a life that's unapologetically yours. This is Talkin' Shit. Let's dive in. Before we get into today's episode, I want to take a quick moment to share something special with you. If you're tired of dieting and feeling like food has more control over your life than you'd like, I want you to know there is another way. Inside my monthly membership, the Healthy Body Collective, women are losing weight and they're healing their relationship with food, balancing their blood sugar, and finally feeling confident and in control of their bodies again. This isn't about restriction, perfection, or quick fixes. It's about learning how to eat, how to support your metabolism, and how to build habits that actually work in real life. If you're ready for sustainable weight loss, calmer cravings, and support that truly meets you where you are, I would love to welcome you inside. You can learn more and join the Healthy Body Collective through the link in the show notes, or feel free to send me a DM on Instagram if you have any questions. Now, let's get into today's episode. Welcome back to the Talkin' Shit podcast. Today, I am going to do a solo episode. Now, this topic is one that I shared with my group, the Healthy Body Collective, several weeks back. And it was really eye-opening when I started to explore this in my own journey with food, my relationship with food, my relationship with my body, and really understanding what the heck was going on. And I found when I shared this with the individuals in the group, but also on one-on-one coaching sessions, so many people, it's like their eyes are opening so wide and they're like, oh my gosh, this finally makes sense. Or, oh my gosh, like I feel like I finally understand what's happening. And I love those moments because I've personally experienced that in my own journey. And I get to experience that with others as well. And those are the moments of healing. Those are the moments of compassion. Those are the moments of understanding and curiosity and all the things that continue to allow us to heal and move forward versus judgment and shame and feeling like there's something wrong with you, because there's nothing wrong with you. You've just likely never been taught how to deal with these things in a way that doesn't have to do with food. So today I'm going to explore this topic of hunger, and there's actually 7 different types of hunger. The 7 types are eye hunger, nose hunger, mouth hunger, stomach, cellular, mind, and heart hunger. Now, in my group, I explored all 7 of them. There's actually a resource that is connected to mindful eating, and it really goes through a lot of these different types of hunger. But for today, I wanted to focus in on 2 of them, because I see it come up so often in the group coaching space, in the one-on-one space. And this type of hunger, well, these 2 types of hunger are really not talked about. And so, you know me, in this Talkin' Shit platform, I want to talk about it. I want to understand it. I want to get curious about it. I want to see, like, how does it impact you and I from truly achieving our goals? So for today's podcast, I'm really going to focus in on mind hunger and heart hunger. So I'm going to give you some definitions. Mind hunger is the desire for stimulation, novelty, learning, or mental engagement. It often shows up when your brain is craving something new, a new experience, a challenge, creativity, or simply a break from the day-to-day routine that we all find ourselves in. This is the hunger that appears when you find yourself saying, I'm bored, so I'm going to eat, or I'm bored, I need to do something with my hands. In these moments, your body may not actually need food. Instead, your mind is seeking stimulation, variety, or engagement. Your brain is asking to be fed with information, connection, movement, or new experiences, but it's not asking to be fed with calories. In this type of hunger, food becomes an easy and accessible way to create stimulation. It provides a quick dopamine response, temporarily satisfying the brain's desire for something different or interesting. But because the true need was mental stimulation, not physical nourishment, the feeling often returns shortly after. I share this often is food can't fix that. If we're going to the root cause of truly what's creating that hunger, and it's mind hunger, no matter how much food you eat, you will still feel like you haven't been able to quench your thirst, if you will. You won't be satisfied. You will continue to be seeking more food because, again, we did not meet your actual need. So, mind hunger can also show up as wanting something exciting or different. This shows up a lot during the new year when we're trying new diets or we're wanting to get off of this diet that you've been doing. And now you're going to try this diet because it's new and exciting, right? So, your mind is wanting something different, or you're seeking distraction from routine or boredom. You're craving novelty, creativity, or engagement. Or you might be eating while scrolling, watching TV, or working. I am totally guilty of that. I will scroll on my phone, or I'll watch a podcast, or I'll listen to a podcast, or I'll be working while I'm eating. So know that, I mean, we all do this, and the goal is to become mindful of it and see how it is impacting you. And is it preventing you from achieving your goals? And is that something that you also want to shift? Remember, you don't have to change anything. You get to decide. Mind hunger, when you recognize mind hunger, the solution isn't always food. I would actually argue that it's not food. If it's truly mind hunger, the solution is not food, but the solution may be taking a walk, calling a friend, learning something new, changing your environment, engaging in a hobby, or giving your brain something stimulating and meaningful to do. This is where I work with my coaching clients to really expand out what their needs are and how we satisfy those needs. Because for so many of us, we have really been taught to use food to satisfy so many needs that it can't really satisfy. So, this is where we expand what you do in times of hunger to address the right thing and also to step away from food being the sole thing that fixes, and I'm air quoting, the problem. So, when you begin to understand the difference between physical hunger and mind hunger, you can gain the ability to respond intentionally instead of automatically. Because sometimes your mind does not need food, it needs engagement, curiosity, or stimulation. So, that is mind hunger. I am curious and I'd love to hear. So, feel free to send me a message on Instagram or email me. My email is in the show notes. I'd love to hear if you really resonate with mind hunger. And if so, how does that show up for you? The second one that I'm going to explore today is heart hunger. I want to be very mindful in this topic of heart hunger because it's quite vulnerable, I will say. But again, we want to explore these areas that feel vulnerable because they're usually the gateways to our healing and truly creating a healthy relationship with food and with your body, which is my goal for the women that I work with. I want you to have a healthy relationship with food, a healthy relationship with your body, and to experience health to its highest potential, right? Like this is where we get that term of, I want you to be thriving, I want you to be flourishing. We have to explore these areas in order to get there. So, heart hunger, this is the definition. Heart hunger is the desire for emotional connection, comfort, love, and belonging, not physical nourishment. It's the hunger that comes from your emotional world. When you experience heart hunger, food often becomes a stand in for something deeper, such as the need for comfort, soothing, connection, or relief from emotional pain. It's not that your body needs calories, but your heart needs care. So here's how heart hunger may show up. It oftentimes sounds like, I've had a hard day, I deserve this. Maybe that extra glass of wine, that extra scoop of ice cream, one more cookie, or I feel lonely. So I'm going to try to attempt to create connection by eating my favorite foods. I need something comforting. For many of us, again, myself included, we have been taught to go to food for comfort, temporary comfort, but still comfort. Or I feel empty. Food makes me feel safe. I'm going to pause on this one because I actually want to share a story from a coaching client. She shared with me that food made her feel safe and food was her best friend because food was predictable. Her favorite food, she knew she would never be disappointed by. She knew it tasted the same every single time she had it. And if you think about that, oftentimes the foods that we might overindulge in or binge on or feel addicted to or feel out of control around, oftentimes they taste the same every single time. They are creating that sense of safety. They are creating that sense of predictability. They are creating where you no longer have to feel disappointed. And I know I'll share with you personally in my own story, I would go to food many times when I felt disappointed or let down. So, again, something to think about and explore in your own journey. And then I've also had where individuals have shared with me that this reminds me of home. So, a certain food reminds them of home or their grandmother's cooking or their mom or their dad, or there's so many memories that are connected to food. And it's very common for food to elicit a memory. And so maybe we're going to that food in moments where our heart is truly hungry and needs that care because it is providing us that sense of comfort and love and connection to our loved ones. Nothing wrong with that. So, this type of hunger is commonly triggered by stress, loneliness, sadness, anxiety, emotional overwhelm, feeling disconnected, or seeking comfort or relief. Food temporarily soothes the nervous system. It also serves it to feel a sense of calm and ease, which is why it can feel so powerful in these moments. I've had so many women share with me that they just feel like they're out of control around food or they feel addicted with food. That is because it's temporarily providing you with these feelings, but in no way are you actually addicted to food, and in no way are you actually or out of control with food. Remember, and this is what I love to do with my coaching clients, I'm going to place the control and power back where it belongs, which is with you. Food can't do anything to you. You have to interact with food. So therefore, you have the control. And also, we know that if you were truly addicted to food, that would have shown up much younger in age, usually before the age of 7. So if that wasn't an issue, you're not addicted to food, you're addicted to the behaviors of food So again, I'm not going to get, I'm not going to go down that road on today's podcast. That is something that I dive into much deeper with my coaching clients, because truly you are the one that has the control and you are the one that has the power. So, why food feels like it helps is because eating comforting food can release dopamine and serotonin, creating a temporary sense of calm, pleasure, and relief. But the key word there is temporary. Most individuals share with me that long term, maybe even in a couple minutes, hours, the next day, they feel absolutely horrible. But because food doesn't resolve the underlying emotional need, the feeling often returns. So, again, we want to get to the root cause of what type of hunger are you experiencing and then give you that so that we actually address it. So, heart hunger isn't a lack of willpower. It's a signal that your emotional needs require attention. Now, this one's shocking. Shocking. You have emotional needs. Even if you were taught that you don't, you do. Everyone does. And your emotional needs require attention. So, the more you keep pushing off your needs, the more, for many, you likely go to food. You feel out of control with food. Your weight is probably the highest it's ever been. This is what you may be experiencing. And so, in order to actually address the problem, we need to start addressing your emotional needs. Nothing wrong with that. And actually, one of my favorite things is to help you with that. So, instead of food, heart hunger is often nourished by connection with others, being seen and heard and listened to, physical touch, such as hugs or comfort, rest, emotional expression, self compassion, feeling safe. This is what heart hunger requires. So sometimes the most powerful response isn't asking, what should I eat? But instead asking, what am I feeling and what do I need right now? Now, like I said, I'm just covering these two, the mind hunger and the heart hunger, for today's episode, because I dive so much more into the other five, right? So there's a total of seven. I would actually argue there's probably a little bit more. And I've redefined some of those definitions because I frankly didn't like some of the definitions provided and didn't match the individuals that I was working with or my own experience. So I changed the definitions because, well, we can do that. But this mind hunger and this heart hunger shows up for many. And until we really address this, we're not going to actually address the emotional eating or the stress eating or the binge eating or feeling out of control with food or gaining weight, those type of things. I hope today's episode was so helpful for you. Again, if this really resonated with you or if there's something that really stood out to you, please, I love your messages. Send me a message. My email, like I said, it's in the show notes. If you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, send me a DM there and let me know what thoughts you have and share with me some of your story. All right, until next time, keep talking some shit. This has been Talkin' Shit. If you like this episode, please give it a thumbs up or leave a review on the Apple Podcast app. If you want more episodes, click that subscribe button. And if you want to learn more, visit healthwins.org. Talkin' Shit is produced and hosted by me, Jana. This production is also made possible by the Community Media Access Collaborative. Learn more at cmac.tv. See you next time.